appreciate you dropping by the Frat House here on the first Thursday of spring. Wild, wild week in sports this week, Sidekick. We generally start out on Monday with a preliminary lineup for the show. Yep. This lineup for this show tonight has changed about a zillion times. I mean, we changed it at least 3, 4, 5 times just last night. A lot of sports news, and we're going to jump right into the NFL because that's where a lot of it is coming from. Yep. We could fill the entire show, actually, with it. Started off right on Monday with Peyton Manning making the announcement that he had chosen the Denver Broncos in a 5-year, $96 million deal. Manning, who will turn 36 years old on Saturday of this week, will be 41 when that contract expires. Prior to calling John Elway, apparently he did call the Tennessee Titans, and he called the 49ers and said to them, thanks, but no thanks. Sorry. Those were the 3 teams, apparently, that were in the contest. I find it kind of coincidental, a little bit interesting. Here's John Elway. He's going to be 30... You got Peyton Manning, who's going to be 36 years old. John Elway over there, 37, 38. He had gotten them the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos when he was 37, 38. Interesting kind of dichotomy there. What's your thinking on Manning over to Broncos?
I want to see how long he's going to play. I guess I was wrong. I said he was going to be on the couch. I think his career's over. Supposedly he's worked out. He's throwing the ball. But we'll see. Yeah. Maybe I'll put a 10 grand bounty on him.
Oh, okay. Interestingly enough, I have been saying, I don't know if I'd want him on my team. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm still a little bit skeptical. I don't know how far it's going to go. I don't know if Denver...
That's a $96 million gamble.
That's a big one. And
that's a big roller there.
Does it make Denver a Super Bowl contender this year? Even if he's 100%, I don't know.
They've adjusted.
That's the question. I think the big question is he 100%?
Vegas adjusted their odds from 6-1 to 10-1.
Yep, absolutely.
To go to the Super Bowl this year. So
the other big blockbuster news, though, came down yesterday from NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, who handed out penalties to the New Orleans Saints for the organization of their 3-year bounty program that they had going on under then defensive coordinator Greg Williams. And I didn't even realize how severe the penalties were until I actually got up this morning and read through them completely. And let's just run this down real quick. Saints head coach Sean Payton suspended for the entire season, all right, without pay. Of course, that's a $7 million contract for him. Current Rams defensive coordinator Greg Williams suspended indefinitely. Saints general manager Mickey Loomis suspended for the first 8 games of the 2012 season, plus $500,000 in fines. Saints assistant coach Joe Vitt suspended for the first 6 games of the 2012 season. An additional $500,000 fine to the team organization. Loss of their second-round draft picks in the upcoming draft, which will be coming up in a couple of weeks, and in 2013. And it's believed that individual Saints players also are still under the microscope. You got Jonathan Vilma there, who is the poster child for the whole program. Goodell apparently was quoted yesterday as saying, as far as the players go, that's something we're continuing to pursue. That's next up. Yeah. So, wow, huh, Sidekick? Yes. I mean, what do you make of all of this?
Well,
it's an outrage.
I agree with what the penalties were that were given. Due to what's come out, there was a 2009 investigation. It was all covered up. It was all lied about.
Right.
And that. So at that point, I do agree with the punishments that were handed out. We know this is a culture in football, and this is going on. So I think if they had faced up to the music and said, "Yeah, we're doing it," this
probably would have been less.
I don't have any issue with a bounty program.
You and I will differ on that one.
Right.
I got no problems with Greg Williams being out forever, personally. That's where I am with that one. I do have a problem with the fact that Sean Payton was, in fact, suspended for the entire season. Because I go right to this point. And I also have a little bit of a problem with the draft picks. I go to this point. who are we penalizing here? Are we penalizing the people that were involved in the program, or are we penalizing the fans and the players, the vast majority of whom had nothing to do with this at all? And really, in my opinion, I think you're penalizing the fans, and I think that's where I have to kind of diverge a little bit from it. I think that the penalty on Sean Payton was excessive, and I think the draft picks only hurt the team into the future. Now, as you pointed out, I think some believe that Goodell was probably coming down on the issue because of the fact that he felt he was lied to consistently. Right. And in fact, there's enough evidence there, apparently, that Sean Payton did, in fact, indicate on numerous occasions that he knew nothing about all of this nonsense. The irony of the whole thing, in many respects, is the fact that next year's Super Bowl is played in New Orleans.
Can they take that back?
Third big story. Went on to Tebow yesterday. No sooner did they get the ink dried on that contract, all right, with Peyton Manning, then here we got Tebow going over to the New York Jets.
It's awesome how far you've come.
I don't know. I got a little problem seeing Tebow with Rex Ryan. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, it went back and forth. It went back and forth on this whole thing yesterday. We weren't quite sure. Was he going? Was he going? I mean, they were giving reports. Tebow's going over to the Jets. Then it was coming back. There were some problems with finances. There was a lot of lobbying apparently going on by the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They really wanted him. And there seemed to be a genuine desire on the part of Tebow, in fact, to go over to Jacksonville. Apparently last night, just after the whole thing finally was finished up, Tebow was quoted as saying, ultimately, I really didn't have any input in any of this because the Broncos had all of the power. Jets management have made it clear that, in fact, Tebow will be a backup. They're going to use him in the Wildcat.
Oh, yeah. See how that works.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm still having a little trouble seeing Tebow up there in the Jets organization with Rex Ryan, and I don't have much confidence in the Wildcat. What you thinking?
Well, I mean, you know, he's going to come in and he's going to Tebow, and New York's going to, you know, get a little moral.
Do you really think so?
No, I'm being completely sarcastic. I don't know what he's going to do in New York. I mean, he's going to be the backup. They're going to run some Wildcat. The only thing I can see is they got him in there to make Sanchez play. Because Sanchez is going to be looking over his shoulder because the first time he messes up, the crowd's going to start screaming for Tebow, and Rex is going to throw Tebow in.
Yeah, and my big concern is the whole thing's just going to become one big media circus. That's really,
well,
you know,
Jets
you're going into
media circus.
Yeah, I mean, you're going into a dysfunctional house that is the New York Jets, and I frankly am just concerned the whole thing is just going to blow up. I don't think it ends well. That's my personal opinion on the whole thing.
We'll have a lot of jokes about it, though.
Oh, you're darn right. I mean, I can't wait until next season to start. We're going to have a lot of fun with that one. Alrighty, those are our three big stories in football. It's been hectic. We got the NCAA Tournament. That kicked up just minutes ago. We got the Sweet 16 section of it going on. Number 4 seed Wisconsin playing up against the number 1 seed Syracuse. How's the bracket doing there? Huh? Looking a lot. Oh, I see a lot of red on there. I see a lot of red on there. You only got one Final Four predict left alive, and that's Syracuse. Listen, don't feel so bad. I think a lot of people were really messed up. Duke went out. Missouri went out early. Yep. Other surprises, we had Notre Dame, we had Georgetown. By next week at this time, we'll be looking at the Final Four, and we'll bring you back up to date on that and see where the bracket stands at that point. All right, we're going to swing over to NASCAR. Yeah, we had a race this past weekend in Bristol, Tennessee. Half-mile track. Opened 50 years ago, 1961. Produced exactly what you might imagine a half-mile track would. Chaos. We got you got 42 cars.
It's Thunder Valley, baby.
You got 42 cars all combining in the same area for the same real estate. Guess what? You had a miscalculation by Casey Kane in lap 24. Ended up taking out some of the biggest names on the track. Carl Edwards. Yeah, Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Marcus Ambrose. Ironically, the Bristol winner, Brad Keselowski, he just narrowly escaped all that. He just skated right in front of all that mess. Matt Kenseth came in second. Martin Truex was third. Clint Boyer was fourth. Brian Vickers, a great race. Fabulous race for him, came in fifth. Take a look at the overall Sprint Cup leaderboard. Biffle's still up there in number 1 with 157. Harvick's got 148. Kenseth takes over in the third place with 145. And Truex, Martin Truex, 139. Denny Hamlin, 137. But we have a big story coming out of NASCAR this week.
Yep.
A little shocking. You might remember that just a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we talked about the fact that the number 48 car, driven by Jimmy Johnson, had all kinds of penalties laid down on it right prior to the 500, the Daytona 500, and pre-inspection, $100,000 fine, 25 points deducted from the driver. Chad Knaus suspended for 6 races. Yep. Ron Malik suspended for 6 races. Team immediately appealed, and last week it went before a 3-panel board, and they upheld every single one of the penalties.
Yep.
This week they go and appeal it again, and where does it go? It goes to their appellate chief appellate officer, John Middlebrook. Shockingly, he overturned every bit of that, with the exception of the $100,000 fine. Yep. And I'm sitting back, and I'm going to be honest with you. I frankly thought that the penalties were a little pricey. I even said that 3 weeks ago. And I thought that perhaps maybe what they would do is they would reduce maybe the race suspension. As soon as this came down, I wrote up on our Facebook page, I smell a rat. This didn't look right.
Well, you know, there was some contention about the fact that the guy, you know, used to be the GM or had a high position within, you know, GM and everything like that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it was just probably a matter of NASCAR not completely having their facts together and Hendrick having his stuff together. From what I was reading today, they had pictures and, you know, measurements.
Yeah,
they had all the stats of that car from last year to this year, all the times it's passed. So, you know, good job to Hendrick.
Apparently, though, this Middlebrook dude, this appellate officer, who has taken over this position since 2010, gets paid $1 a year. There have been 4 different appeals. Every single one of them he's reduced the penalties on. Every single one of them. So perhaps maybe these guys went in there going, I think we
roll the dice.
Yeah, I think we might.
Well, we know Hendrick gambles. I mean, you don't win. We said it weeks ago. You don't win 5 championships without, you know, stretching things here and there. So, you know, what do they lose by if they lose the appeal?
Well, no, I agree. I mean, I think they absolutely you're going to appeal it, but I frankly was a little bit shocked at the whole thing coming down the way it did. I didn't expect it to be overturned the way it was. We got a race this coming Sunday. That'll be at the California Speedway at Fontana, and that'll be covered live on Fox at 2:30. All right, so check it out. NHL leaderboard. Most of the teams now only have about 9-10 games left of the regular season, so we're really in the throes of the playoff chase. Your St. Louis Blues are hanging up there. They are still at number 1 with 100 points. New York Rangers at 99. The Canucks at 95. Boston Bruins 87. Dallas Stars and Florida Panthers are tied for 85. Those are our 6 teams at the top. I felt a need to touch on what happened on Monday night. That matchup between the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils. And I bring it up for a couple of reasons. But the referee had no sooner dropped the puck when 6 of the 10 skaters, dropped their gloves. 3 seconds into the game, and we had 3 major brawls going on. All right?
Good old Donnybrook.
Some of this had obviously started as a dust-up between the 2 head coaches, John Tortorella and Peter DeBoer, on the other respective bench. And as they were cleaning up the blood on the ice, and the referees were announcing 40 minutes in penalties, all right, with only 3 seconds marked on the clock. All right, this is the second time apparently now this has happened between these 2 teams. Back on February 7th, they did it with 2 seconds on the clock into the game. Incidents like this constantly bring up the arguments that there is no room for fighting in hockey.
Bull. Right here, a perfectly good sport where we're allowed to hit, we're allowed to hurt each other. This is a real sport, not the flag football we see in that frickin' National Ferries League.
We become a nation of horses.
You know, I mean, what?
There's a history to this. I will say this. The New York Rangers, who are right now in position to win their first division championship since '94, right now are leading the league with 62 major penalties for fighting. Last season, the Stanley Cup winning Boston Bruins ranked second for fighting majors in 71. So people that say that fighting doesn't matter in the game, I don't know.
Horse puck.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you. We had some great responses on our Facebook page this week to our new series, The Biggest Hero in Football. We had some really good responses. We had people throwing into us, Reggie White, Bill Burby. Great response from Lee out there, Pat Tillman. Your hero?
My hero is Kurt Warner. I just want to go back to Lee's comment. Actually, Tillman had escaped me.
Yeah.
When we were talking about this, because, and it's worth mentioning because, Pat Tillman, gave up football to go into the services.
Yeah.
To defend our country after 9/11, ultimately, was killed and, paid with his life. But I think we need to see more of this kind of, heroic behavior in sports.
Yeah.
So that's a little aside. But I picked as my hero, I picked Kurt Warner because, he was undrafted, was packing groceries in a grocery store, got into the Arena League, worked hard, won a Super Bowl, does all this philanthropy.
He's got a daughter, too, that's got some issues. Is that right?
Right. Well, he's 7 kids.
Yeah.
So, and he does a lot of philanthropy and stuff. So Kurt Warner's my hero.
Yeah. I go over to Joe Montana. And some might say, well, you're picking Joe Montana because, take a look at it. What sterling numbers he had that he put up. And he did. But really what it comes down to is it comes down to the fact that in 1986, in that season of 1986, he suffered a ruptured disc in his neck. Not dissimilar to some of the kind of problems that Peyton Manning has gone through. And he underwent surgery in that particular season. And there were a lot of people that said that not only was that season ending, it was career ending. Joe Montana came back after that season. He fought with Steve Young through the next season in 1987, and in fact won his job back in 1988. Joe Montana, to me, was just a marvel because of the fact that so many people had discounted him when that initial injury had occurred. And frankly, with all of his stats, everything else, the stats are one thing, but when you take a look at that, I think that's an amazing thing. Joe Montana.
I think you just became my personal hero.
There he is. Next week, we're going to be taking a look at biggest heroes in basketball. And, just like you did this week, will you please let us know. Hit us up on Facebook and let us know what you're thinking. In the meantime, hey, remind you, keep it real, keep it live, keep it going. See you then.
Yeah, that's one of those racing deals, as they say here at Bristol, Tennessee. Regan was driving down the straightaway, and Casey said, good, I got him cleared, I'm moving up, and look what happens.
Cars from 5th through 13th place were involved. Ride with Kevin Harvick.
Stay up. We got back 18 here. We got damage here.
And now Jimmy Johnson's view.
No damage here, boys. He's on the high side. You're clear right now.
Good job. Riding with Casey Kane.